This student-produced podcast is opinions and commentary and does not reflect the views of any organization. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the podcast. Any opinions presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. This podcast should not be considered professional advice. Unless specifically stated otherwise, the agency does not endorse, approve, or certify any information, product, process, service, or organization presented or mentioned in this podcast. Copyright the agency 2025, all rights reserved. You may not reproduce, distribute, or modify this podcast without written permission.
Welcome to Ad Space. My name's Elise.
And I'm Jackson.
Each week, we'll be breaking down the most buzzworthy campaigns, social trends, and advertising news through the eyes of Gen Z.
With sharp analysis, authentic debates, and real audience insights, we'll unpack how Gen Z responds to the strategies shaping the industry today.
Let's get into it.
We're on video,
You can see us now.
live and living color. It's Ad Space by the agency.
This has been a long time coming. We're very excited to bring you a visual element to the podcast.
This was the original vision for Ad Space, so it's nice to just kind of finally see it come into fruition.
Yeah, exactly. And this also kind of ties into what we'll be talking about today. All of the ads from the ad update, we've kind of noticed this trend, this shift for advertising shifting towards art-driven, long-form, cinematic ad spots.
That's right. They are a little more impactful, and they have an artistic element where, they're bringing on real directors who have experience in this art side of things rather than just a consumer product driven aspect, right? And throughout this, we're kind of going to unpack why this is happening, why you're seeing agencies shift towards this art driven format, and why it's important to Gen Z, why it matters to us.
Look how they feel about it. Let's
So-
get into the ad update.
All right, welcome to the ad update, where we debrief the most impactful campaigns from last week. First up, we have Saucony with their campaign, The Runners. So this was produced by Step Studios, directed by duo Hot Icarus, and the photography was shot by Wolverine Worldwide's in-house production team, The Den. So The Runners is a 4-minute, one-shot film that tells the story of how different people run through the city, narrated by a mix of voicemails, studio voiceovers that share personal motivational stories and encourage runners to keep going, to keep running. Professional runners Sam Chalanga and Hazem Miawad are featured in the spot. And the overall message that I got was, no matter your why, no matter your way, run.
Yeah. Specifically, one of my favorite lines that they used towards the beginning of the spot was, "One day I just started and I never stopped." Talking about getting into the habit of running. I just thought visually it was incredibly compelling.
Yes.
It kept your attention span. I mean, running, the camera was always moving, the light was changing, the people were changing. It was such just a visually appealing.
It's so visually appealing. Like we talked about, it is this cinematic format, but they also do have some really great copy lines, really great, just motivational running core copy lines, right? That just bring this spot to light.
Yeah. And specifically, this campaign is running. It's running across digital, streaming, social, and out of home. So they specifically put a billboard and outdoor placement in Philadelphia for the Saucony sponsored Love Philly Run on March 29th. So they also did some stuff in New York too. So they're just using this beautiful ad spot all around. They did some stuff on social as well, kind of showing the just visual appeal of running, the beauty of it.
And in New York, they actually debuted it, or they premiered it at New York's Metrograph Film Festival, which it really just shows how far they are going with. They really want this to come across as a cinematic, as a meaningful piece that Saucony is putting out and trying to connect with the running audience.
Exactly. And rather than shoving a product in everybody's face, they're tapping into the emotional significance of running as a shared human experience.
And so specifically for Gen Z, and I can really speak from my perspective here, I feel like when I'm on social media, the thing that really gets me to stop the scroll is something that I feel like I'm getting something out of watching it. I feel like it has meaning or it's, something that I can actually reflect on. And that's what this was. And that's what a lot of the pieces that we'll look at today are.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than, showing off a cool shoe. And they do show off like the cool shoes. They show like different ways to style it, different ways that it's useful running,
Yeah.
biking too. But just overall, if you can, you know, give Gen Z something that feels authentic and meaningful and maybe even philosophical, dare I say,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's just going to connect with them on a deeper level than
It's more
your average
graspable too.
trend. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
And in terms of how the campaign performed, Saucony launched the platform Run as One in early 2025, with some different types of activations, but the same idea of running as one, running as a shared emotional language. And by the end of May, the brand saw a 12 percentage point lift in brand awareness among 25 to 45-year-olds and an 18% increase in purchase consideration, which is another reason that maybe they tapped into this kind of like long cinematic art form ad to reach those 25 to 45-year-olds even more.
And I like what you said there about the shared language of running,
Mhm.
right? Because all of these ads, and really the reason that one might do a more cinematic piece is because you want to imbue your brand with meaning,
Exactly.
right? You want to have some sort of establish a deep emotional connection with the audience. And I think this achieves that well. This achieves they understand why people run or the many reasons that why people might run.
And I think too, it breaks through, we talk about AI a lot, it breaks through some AI noise with a very human, emotional centered message that they're giving their audience.
All right, moving on to our next campaign for the day, Superstar by Adidas. So this was created by agency Johannes Leonardo and directed by Phoebit Grevitt through production company Division. So in this spot, Samuel L. Jackson wanders barefoot through a sort of Shining-esque hotel where each room contains a modern cultural icon wearing the Superstar Adidas sneaker. The Adidas Superstar shoe is never the focus of the frame, but is always kind of subtly presented. And in his voiceover, Jackson reflects on while most footprints tell you where someone has been, the Adidas Superstar tells you where they're going.
Yes.
Stardom, fame.
There's actually a second chapter of the campaign. Chapter 1 was titled Clocks and highlights Samuel Jackson and Missy Elliott as well. And it entertained so many that the original creators tapped Samuel Jackson a second time for this Superstar spot. And since its release on YouTube, it already has 126,000 views in 4 days.
Pretty crazy.
Which is crazy.
And just speaking real quick about this success, I'm not going to go into the exact numbers, but this had the first part at least had a sizable impact on their revenue and like sales of the Superstar shoe specifically. So and with the views that, chapter 2 is already getting, I have no doubt we'll also see that increase of relevance in sales amongst the shoe. But like real quick, just reflecting on Gen Z and how Gen Z fits into this, I think for Adidas, with that original spot, with Missy Elliott and Samuel L. Jackson, you really kind of saw how they were using the Superstar as a symbol of like old icons. And I feel like a lot of people in the past have recognized the Superstar and recognized how iconic it is. But with Gen Z, when I think of Adidas, I think of Sambas.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 people in this room wearing Sambas at this moment.
Oh, yeah.
It is our Adidas shoe that we think of. And the way that they use stars like, who is in it? Lamine Yamal,
Olivia Dean,
Baby Kendall
Keane.
Jenner,
Kendall
right?
Jenner's in it.
It introduces it as a Superstar shoe that affects our generation too. It is our people too that are these people that are making the same journey as an icon.
Exactly. And I think it goes cross-cultural, like generationally. I mean, they're obviously picking Samuel L. Jackson, which is a household name for us, our parents, our grandparents, going to be people after us even probably. And but you also see these celebrities that they're using, all different types of industries that they're in, that have different audiences that they're reaching. And when you watch the ad, each of these celebrities and the people that they use, you like go into a room and it like creates a whole vibe around this shoe. And then you step out of the room and you go in another room and it's a whole different vibe, but it's surrounded by just this like shoe creating just an elevated style for
I think
people
I
that are
just
wearing it.
got the story of it.
Yeah.
Like Samuel L. Jackson is like passing on the stardom
Mm-hmm.
to these young stars. And like, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Great spot from Adidas here. All right. Moving on to our third campaign for the day from H&M. We have the campaign H&M and New York. So this is the debut of their new Global Style series. So H&M and New York is a video spot which features real New Yorkers and their personal styles through photography and film captured through the lens of fashion photographer Raphael Tavarotti. So the campaign stars a mix of very recognizable faces like Ice Spice, TikTok creator Kareem Rama, who's the Subway Takes guy,
yeah.
right? And they also used just random people that they street casted, random New Yorkers, right? And so throughout the video, the models share what fashion means to them as a form of self-expression and what they love about the city. The campaign embraces each person's individual style, reflecting that the brand's belief that fashion is a collective of diverse expressions rather than a singular aesthetic or look, which is a quote from H&M's CCO, Jorgen Andersen.
Yeah. My favorite line from this ad was, I think it opened with this. They asked, what's your favorite thing about New York, or what's the most iconic thing about New York? And I think it was somebody from the street just said, the most beautiful thing is the people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it was just like such a beautiful expression of culture in New York City and what it's like to like be there, and especially within the fashion scene. And this totally just taps into Gen Z's desire for authentic representation and diversity in media. Not just celebrities, but just regular day people from off the street that have these like just incredible vibes that they just by like looking at them. They're just like, it's just visually so cool, but it's just these people standing in front of a white background talking
Right.
about what it's like to live in New York.
Their clothes shine and their faces
Exactly.
and just the way that they present themselves really comes out on screen.
Yeah.
Really good spot. I think that this really reminded me of a campaign that we covered last week, a couple weeks ago, Be Forever a New Yorker.
Right.
It's really tapping into like this New York pride. And so they're actually, where's the next city that they're doing this in? Rio. They're doing it in Rio. And I just think I'm excited to see how this like spot goes further. I'm sure they'll be able to do it in different languages and kind of explore how that affects fashion.
Yeah.
But I was surprised to see H&M doing this.
No, yeah. I think it definitely sets them apart from other fashion chains by showing that this is a place where people can find unique statement pieces, which I think is maybe something that they're trying to like change about their brands. I know we were kind of talking about like H&M and like even Zara and some of these other brands that are all under the same holding company
Yeah.
being more like kind of fast fashion leaning.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily like always fashion forward, which New York is giving very much. So I think this is kind of like they're trying to take a brand pivot a little bit. But showing that you can find unique statement pieces is still at a place like H&M, very much rooted in personal style.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I will say, just personal anecdote, I love this type of video, especially for how it portrays celebrities. So like
Yeah.
Ice Spice, it reminds me of like a Vogue video where you're really getting a personal reflection of who a celebrity is. They're kind of showing who their personality is. I know this is like one of these videos is why I started liking Kylie Jenner, or I supported her and Timothy's relationship. Totally side point. But so I feel like this is a great move for, we often see celebrities being used and just kind of wasted because it's like, well, you just kind of wanted to have like, great reach, but
Yeah.
these were authentic. Like that was an authentic moment for Ice Spice.
It reminds me from when last week when we were talking about Staples Baddie,
Mhm.
how one of the reasons that like brands find her so interesting is because she's just authentically talking about her job
Yeah.
and the cool things that you can do at Staples, and it's gotten Staples so much brand credibility because wasn't anybody of any relevance. She wasn't being paid before this,
Yeah.
but now it's just an authentic, genuine perspective on something. And I think them bringing in people from the street and interviewing these celebrities in that way almost is kind of like a parallel to that. So it's very authentic brand voice. It doesn't feel like H&M is screaming in your face, we are the new streetwear that you can find your unique personal style. Instead, it's people being like, this is what New York is, and I feel that way in these clothes, which is very cool.
All right, so kind of wrapping up this ad update, just our reflections on why these campaigns work for us and for Gen Z as a whole. I like to think about, they say that all art is a reaction, right? And this feels like a reaction to the AI slop randomness,
Yes.
feed that we've been getting for months and months now. I think of Nutter Butter, right? Huge
Yeah.
when Nutter Butter launched, and it was funny
Or
for
Brita.
or the Bills did it for a sec.
Yes.
There's a good memory there. But we're tired of it. We're tired of this
Brain rot
slop. It's like
era.
it was funny for a minute, but now I just open social media and I feel like I'm melting. Like I feel like I keep scrolling and there's nothing worth watching
Yeah.
because everyone wants to hop on the trend of irony, and no one wants to be bold and make a statement and make something worth watching.
Yeah.
And I love that these companies are, they're taking a risk and they're really producing something worth watching, award worthy.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sure that's kind of why they're doing it too.
Yeah.
So I love
Definitely,
seeing it.
it breaks through the noise on your feed. Kind of like how we were talking about, this was a few episodes ago, movie trailers being on social media feeds.
Yeah.
But you still, because it's a movie trailer and it's not made by AI and it's a human-centered story and it's interesting, you stop and you watch it. And I think this is something really similar they're doing, telling these human stories. It's very cool. Love to see it. All right. Well, finally, what's happening on social? So you've heard of girl dinner, but now there's boy kibble. More specifically, boy kibble is a bowl of ground beef and rice. Gen Z males have become increasingly obsessed with macros and balancing a healthy protein-forward diet. And on TikTok, some have admitted to eating this meal more than 7 times a week. Jackson, have you ever made boy kibble?
Of course I've made
Oh my God.
boy kibble. Okay. Rice, the easiest carb, maybe the easiest food to digest other than water. I don't use ground beef per se. It's a little, unhealthy for me, I fear. And it's so much more expensive than any of the other. But ground turkey, let me tap you in. Ground turkey is ground turkey is delicious. It's higher protein, it's lower lower fat, probably higher sodium, but I'm young.
So where did you first that recipe when you first started making it? Did you find it on TikTok or did you just start making it?
I think that boy kibble exists in every boy's genetic, history. I think that we are born knowing that we are, gonna eat boy kibble one day. No, I mean seriously, whenever you go on TikTok, and maybe it's because I have a dude timeline or I just add in, I look up, meal prep. Half of the things I see are essentially boy kibble.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a couple more veggies involved, but it's just easy. I feel like it's part of this, fitness sphere of ease. And I mean, that's what Gen Z craves, right? Is ease. So that's what we've been told for years, at least.
Oh, yeah.
Gen Z wants convenience, and that's what this does. As opposed to girl dinner, where it's a little bit of
more personalized and kind of being okay with just having a few snacks together as a meal. This is
just nutrition. It's just fuel
for males, apparently. Well, it also works for Gen Z because kind of like you were mentioning, those generational fad trends, huge factors to jump on and create content around. And this idea of boy kibble adds a layer to social media with plenty of potential opportunities to create trending posts. What's your take on boy kibble? How are you making it better? How is ways, like you said, ways that you can, maybe you want to be low sodium, maybe you need higher carbs.
I would love to see some food brands hopping in on this, like adding
Like
their
snack
fake,
brands,
like
even.
adding to food, or being like, maybe stray away from the rice and the rice and ground beef and
Yeah.
try adding goldfish. I Yeah, I am excited to see how people tap into this. I think that there's a lot of fun to be made. I'm gonna go on a rant for a sec, but I think that brands really should tap into this. Like this is a modern male trend, right?
Yeah.
And brands need to engage in misandry. I've told you this before. Brands need to innovate in the ways that they are making fun of dudes, not just because it's gonna make dudes mad. That's not the point.
It's
We
funny.
get it. It's funny,
It's funny.
right?
It's
And
always
girls
been
get it.
funny.
Everyone gets it.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
just there's different things that we need. I mean, you could talk about stoicism or like
Mhm.
the general idea of like guys adopting a philosophy and then that's how they live by.
Yeah.
It's like, or adopting boy kibble and that's what they eat for every meal.
Mhm.
It's funny and it's ridiculous and people are taking themselves way too seriously right now.
Yeah.
Not to go back on what I said earlier about people needing to take a risk, but come on, life is fun.
Yeah. Try new things.
Try
Be adventurous.
take a risk.
Mhm. Yeah.
Tie it back.
All right. And now the ad news. Let's jump into the latest ad and PR headlines from this week. So, first, we always talk about the big three holding companies, what's happening with them. This week, WPP is transitioning from a holding company into a single company. On February 26th, WPP announced a new multi-year strategic plan they're calling Elevate 28. Before they operated as a holding company where different agencies worked in these like silos. And now they're streamlining the company into 4 key units: WPP Media, WPP Creative, WPP Production, and WPP Enterprise Solutions. This plan is led by new CEO Cindy Rose and is a response to cost-cutting clients, intensifying competition, and AI disruption.
So this entire movement is going to be supported by, and it's really, I think, based around WPP Open, which is WPP's internal AI platform.
Yes.
So each division, I think they're going to be pushing and they're kind of expected to lean into using WPP Open. Employees are going to be expected to use it with every client pitch.
Yeah.
And this is just, it's really, it shows what the trend in the industry is right now, which is unifying, making, getting rid of the hiccups that come with, go to them, with holding companies. They have
And
all these,
go to WPP to
yes,
get
get
everything
the
that they.
full service. It's
Yes.
that way of making the full service more smooth and
Exactly.
not, having to go to different companies.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that they're doing this. And we were doing research on this for Jackson and I to like completely understand like what this entire like new overhaul
Yeah.
looks like. Cause like obviously we've never worked in one of these big holding companies, but I came across this really interesting article from The Drum by Mark Ritson. And he was kind of talking about how this is potentially like, and it's a really interesting and potentially unstrategic move for WPP. And he was spitting some facts in this article that I thought were really funny. Cindy Rose is WPP's 3rd chief executive in 8 years. And in that time, they've had 3 reconstructions of the holding company itself, 5 major network mergers, 30 subsidiaries sold, and headcount, so their employees, has fallen from 130,000 to under 100,000. And those remaining employees are obviously like in a flux about what they're going to do about this now. And the average tenure of a senior manager or senior management team member of WPP is 1.2 years, which I find very interesting.
I will say it seems like Cindy Rose understands this. A quote from Marketing Dive said, "Our recent underperformance has been driven by excessive organizational complexity,
Yes.
a lack of integrated operating model, and inconsistent strategic execution. Our mission is now to be a trusted growth partner for our clients in the era of AI."
Yeah.
So they're really betting it all on this idea of like an integrated system, integrated
Exactly.
marketing.
Like you said, like it's surrounded around WPP Open.
So I'll be excited to see how it turns out. I
Yep.
honestly don't fully understand it. Like I mean, I was at VML this past summer for an internship and I got experience with WPP Open. They definitely or VML really wants people to use it and experience it. And I think that maybe they're at a point where they're happy with, they understand how it's working for clients and they want to go forward with it. We'll see how it works out. I mean, the AI bubble is a whole nother conversation we could
Absolutely.
have, and just, is this really going to be the most effective way going forward in the future? But, someone has to be the pioneer. Someone has to take those big, bold steps, big and small companies, I think. I'll be excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah. Right. On to the rest of our ad news. We were doing research about what we wanted to talk about, and we came across this really interesting article that felt like it really tied into talking about Gen Z and their media habits and media consumption. It's from Adweek by Mark Stenberg, and he's a senior media reporter covering the business of digital and print media and publishers. And he wrote an article titled "Live Streamers Killed the Vertical Video Star." So essentially he's talking about the end of an era where you could build a massive lasting career just by going viral for 15 seconds at a time on these social platforms. Fame is shifting from this shallow idea of being seen by millions to a deeper type of fame, which is having a smaller, more dedicated audience that sticks around for hours. So specifically, he's talking about streaming.
Yeah.
Jackson and I have done all different kinds of research, obviously about Gen Z, but recently we've done a lot about Gen Alpha. They love Twitch.
They do love Twitch.
Love YouTube streamers,
Mhm.
TikTok lives, all of that kind of stuff.
Because it's just a deeper, side of things. Like, you get more authenticity from someone whenever they're just sitting in front of a camera for 4 hours. You can't script that out, right? It's this entire time they're just going to be, I mean, they might have like a plan for what they're going to do, but they're going to be riffing, they're going to be having fun. And that's honestly what we like to see. We like to, and we do like, moments being pulled from those little clips being cut together.
Yeah, clipped, reposted, put on their own social medias, clipped by other people, by fans, reposted, edited, all that kind of stuff.
But
Absolutely.
overall, I just think this is, emblematic of the shift in influencer culture, where it's no longer these, put together perfect hauls or,
Exactly.
dance videos. Instead, it's long form, just authentic talking to you.
And it's an opportunity too for creators to create a sort of more genuine and deeper connection with their audiences, because when you join somebody on a live stream, like there's the live chat, and obviously you as like the streamer want to engage with your audience. So you're looking at the chat, you're responding to comments, you're like talking, maybe you see like reoccurring accounts, and it creates these like deep niche online communities, which like we've been saying for the past 20 minutes, authenticity for Gen Z. That's how they see it as.
And I think that just overall, you're seeing the old era of like these super influencers, maybe like a Charlie or something, Charlie D'Amelio.
Exactly.
I think a lot of them are starting to even shift towards like podcasting, things like that maybe it's not as heavy as like streaming, but it's still, it's still more of an authentic experience where they're allowed to talk to their audience, maybe have a guest on, they can just kind of be themselves. So this is a good movement for me. I think that there was a lot of toxicity around, the 15 seconds of fame, that constant grind to post, 40, 15-second videos a day.
Exactly. And I don't think that's going away anytime soon. I just think there's a like almost a shift in, you can't just be that reaching for that 15 seconds of fame. You also need to be streaming and building a more
4 hours
life
fame.
community. Yeah, no kidding. All right. And that's the ad news. That noise means battle time. Let's put two brands that will go head to head to see who tackled the brief better. In today's battle, an unexpected collab. Who collabed unexpectedly better?
For the first unexpected collab, we have my brands, Liquid Death and Spotify, with their campaign/product, the Eternal Playlist Urn. So, in collaboration with Spotify, Liquid Death has created the world's first music streaming urn. The Eternal Playlist Urn is an actual urn with a Bluetooth speaker built into the lid, with Spotify's Eternal Playlist generator connected to it. U.S. listeners receive personalized playlists for their afterlife based on their listening patterns and their history, which I think is really interesting.
That is interesting.
So Liquid Death is actually running this as a 45-second ad spot called Calling the Urn, the newest innovation in being dead. Built on the universal truth that the worst part about being dead is you can't listen to music.
Wow.
I really love just it's such a ridiculous campaign, right? This is such a ridiculous product. I should mention they're actually selling it. They're selling 150 units that are available in the US for just the small price of $4.95, bargain of a lifetime,
Love it.
literally. It's just so funny. I mean, this works so well with Gen Z. It is sold out, by the way, so don't go looking.
Darn.
But this is sold. No, sorry. Gen Z, we don't play about our music. We don't play about our
No.
playlists.
And I think it leans into Gen Z's like dark
Humor.
sometimes like death related humor.
Yeah.
Like I fear like we can be kind of
We are in nihilist
at
times. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to hear one more like, ooh, another this is unprecedented times. One more time in my life, like I'm gonna say it.
No, it's just I just love the way that it's such a Liquid Death campaign,
Exactly.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
they've had some bangers over the last month. Even they had that AI skiing, or what was she doing? Do you see that Olympics thing?
Yes.
Yes, where her head, like, she turned into like a crazy robot. Then let's like 5 AI.
Then they had their
Super Bowl ad,
which
which was great.
we enjoy. Yes.
They're on a run, and I feel like this is a great way to like really make it physical and have this real product that's brought. I'm hoping that some like influencers get a hold of it. I haven't seen that just yet,
Mhm.
but they are running this spot on YouTube and just other social media. So yeah, that's us.
Well, I do enjoy that collab. I think it's very unexpected. I think they did it very well. But I have to say this is probably one of my like favorite like Battle of the Brands things that I've gotten to talk about so far. I'm very excited about it. My collab is Kit Kat X Formula One. So I'm a huge Formula One fan. Drive to Survive, if you've seen it, or if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. It's about the Formula One season. They release it a few days before the first race of the season. And last year, Kit Kat became the official chocolate bar of Formula One. They released this big press release talking about how they were going to help their F1 fans embrace the break. So, break on the car, breaking the Kit Kat to eat it, little play on words. But along the track, they had fan zones during these F1 races, like paddock clubs, created all these fun, social and engaging social media experiences for fans. Kit Kat sets the bar for the very best break imaginable. They had exclusive merchandise, in-store activations, exciting prize promotions, limited editions, all that kind of stuff. But this year, in anticipation for the new Drive to Survive season that just came out a few days ago, they released a meticulously crafted F1 shaped Kit Kat. It looks like one of the cars, and you can eat it. It's
I've
an
seen it.
actual Kit Kat.
It looks really cool.
It's unfortunately not available in the US. F1 is pretty European leaning, but at least it's not sold out.
Well,
Still available.
the urn was available in the US, so
Well, and Vegas Grand Prix hasn't happened yet. They haven't.
that's true. They could bring it up. They could bring it.
So
They could restock. We don't know.
But Formula One is a rapidly growing sport, especially among younger audience, because of this Drive to Survive show that's come out on Netflix.
I need to watch it. I haven't seen it.
It's like the reason that I care about F1
Really?
right now. And I think a huge part of F1 is the like fan experiences that they build from people in person, especially when you're in Europe and they're touring over all these different cities. Like specifically when I was in Europe last summer, we were in Barcelona the same time that the Barcelona race was.
Yeah.
And they had like all of these different fan villages like set up across the city, and
It's pretty cool.
you could like do driving simulators. You could pretend you were like taking the tire off the car and putting it back on. And it was a great way, even if you weren't an F1 fan, for you to just like engage with the brands and the cars and just like the experience itself. So I think Kit Kat tapping into this is very cool.
I wish that, and I'll give this to you. I wish that Liquid Death took it further or did it bigger. You know what I mean? Like if they'd made a Liquid Death X Spotify Graveyard that was like a big music party or something,
Yeah.
like that would have been so cool, like an actual activation that people
Yeah.
could attend.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate the way like the little Kit Kat car is sick, and like the way that it's so widespread is so
I'll have to
cool.
see if I could ship one here.
I'm sure it's on eBay
I'm gonna find it.
or Depop.
Oh, could be, yeah. Let us know which brand you think won this segment of Battle of the Brands by going to our Instagram at @theagencyKU to vote on either Kit Kat X Formula One or Liquid Death X Spotify. Finally, we are back with our 3-minute meeting. For this segment, local Kansas City and Lawrence brands submit marketing questions or pitches for what they would say or what they would ask if they had 3 free minutes with an ad agency.
Our client today is Hula Hoop Vintage. They're a pop-up shop in downtown Kansas City and have vintage finds for all ages, styles, and sizes. They do monthly sip-in shops, art socials, cocktails and craft classes, vendor markets, private events, etc.
So specifically, they were asking Jackson and I how to increase foot traffic and brand awareness, turning their social media engagement and excitement into actual purchases and actual private event rentals. They're also opening a second location in Zona Rosa in April that they want to help us promote.
And they want to make sure that they're getting equal foot traffic to both the Zona Rosa location and their downtown location.
Exactly. So let's start that timer. 3 minutes on the clock. So the first thing that we wanted to talk about was driving online sales and, like they mentioned, sales in person. So one of the ways that we think you could do that is highlight some of those specific products that you have for sales. Those incredibly curated, really cool vintage pieces, highlighting just like the one piece and how you can get this.
Style it.
Exactly. You can get this specific piece this weekend, this pop-up for this price, and yeah.
It's really just going to make it so people aren't putting off going to your shop, right? They're not thinking, oh, well, I'll be able to get great products anytime I go. Like if they see something that they really want, they're going to have that motivation to get there for that pop-up.
Exactly. And I'm not just going vintage shopping. I'm going vintage shopping for the specific piece that I'm looking for, and I'm looking forward to going to look for it.
Really taps into that personalization element that Gen Z loves.
And I think that would do the same thing too with translating to online shopping sales, like on Instagram, showcasing like here are all these different pieces that you can purchase together to put together this really cool outfit. You can buy this one online, this one in store at this location, this one in store at this location.
All right, moving on to our next tip. We love that you're already on Instagram. We love your Instagram, but we would suggest creating an Instagram broadcast channel to speak and kind of collect a very loyal audience of followers. And to this audience, you would be able to offer coupons, blast notifications. It's a great way to blast notifications. A lot of people have broadcast channel notifications on, but they don't have like normal posts or stories notifications.
Yeah.
So, and then you could also throw giveaways onto this channel, other ways of reaching the audience.
Exactly. It's a great way to create niche communities for your brand and finding people that are loyalists after a certain amount of time that are coming back and purchasing and are telling their friends about it. We also were thinking give specific reasons and showcase specific reasons why somebody would want to purchase the pop-up event space. There were all these cool little videos that they made about a Galentine's event or like specific work events, but maybe like talking about how it could be the next destination in Kansas City for a bachelorette party or for
a birthday
parties for younger people or older, like whatever, and helping the audience think about how this space could be utilized.
For the new shop specifically, we wanted to talk about using in the Zona Rosa area, just collaborating with the other shops to host this, like your initial pop-up events and the following, in this initial like opening phase, and make sure to tap into the KC travel influencer community. So at Hooked on KC is an example. We have Tiffany Watts. She just kind of posts like different places that she's going in KC that are really impressing her and that she's having fun. Just reaching out to those influencers and getting them to come out would be a great way to launch the new store.
Just that like influencer space in general. I feel like people are always kind of searching for what's the new next big cool thing that I can do with my friends. And influencers are the way to get there. And that's the timer. Thank you so much, Hula Hoop, for submitting your questions and sharing your brand with us. If you're a local KC or Lawrence brand, we'd love to feature you in our 3-minute meeting. To be featured, visit our Instagram or email us at adspacepod@gmail.com. That's adspacepod@gmail.com.
You've been listening to Ad Space by The Agency.
This episode was produced by Brenna Burnett and Joe Biundo, written and edited by the Steam Whistle creative team. Sound design and mixing by Joe Biundo, Wyeth Cooper, and Brenna Burnett.
Special thanks to our faculty advisor, Dr. Rose. This podcast is a production of Steam Whistle Creative, made possible by the William Allen White School of Journalism and Mass Communications.
To keep up with new episodes, follow our Instagram at The Agency KU, and don't forget to like, rate, and review. It really helps us out.
I'm Jackson.
And I'm Elise.
And we'll see you next time.